I'm Will Miller, and this is Willpower and Robbery. Next time you'll say that, because I swear I can't remember.
Let me do the outro too. I'll throw some that up as you do.
You take that. I'll take the intro.
Give me the cues. See, it's all about compromise, right? All right, so we are up to, and be near me, the third chorus. Sorry, the third verse. Up to the second chorus.
Right.
And then the climax of the song. So this is going to be the first taste, really, of you getting a feel for Billy's harmonies, which are, dare I say, fantastic. But, you know, when it comes to harmonies, we've done everything from just 2-part harmonies to like 10-part harmonies across the course of this journey.
And you really you really should know. You really should be able to sing your own harmonies, because you might be in a situation where you have nobody else to do them for you. And in my case, I didn't have anybody to do them. I did have my good friend Amy. I hope she's watching. And she did some harmonies for me in other songs, but she wasn't always available. Right. And it was either I don't do the harmonies or I learn how. So I think you should be able to do your own harmonies, and you should be able to do them a couple of different ways, and be flexible with how you're gonna do them, because you're just gonna have to if you want to keep the song going.
You know what's funny though? Technology has gotten to the point where you don't have to. Now I can tell you from trying it and hearing it, and in some cases using it.
Do you think?
It's no substitute for.
That's okay.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's come a long way. So. I mean, the average listener buried behind a mountain of drums and stuff, you could probably get away with it. But
yeah, but just as a singer, I mean, if you're going through the whole process of being able to come into a studio and do it, sometimes being a singer, you just have to stick to being a singer. So I don't recommend, and this is a matter of contention of how you feel. And if you're a good enough singer, and if you're somebody who can't sing, for instance, and it's coming into the studio, you have limited
someone
vocal.
Can't sing, we're going to whip out auto-tune, we're going to whip out every technical trick in the book.
You do every technical trick in the book, because you just can't sing. And there's some people who just don't have the greatest vocal ability, but yet they can still sing. But if you are going if you're going into this, you kind of want to stick true to the, you're already losing a lot. I shouldn't say that. Losing some things because it's not live, because you don't have a band. You're losing that. I mean,
some feel.
Not feel, but you're pretty much in a box. Meaning, basically, you only can do so much as a singer. As a singer doing this type of music, you certainly can't go off and do a whole bunch of ad-libs and just do them the way you want to do them.
I don't know. I forced you to do something.
Well, I mean, right, but it's in the control.
Yeah.
So it's
in the context of the song.
It's in control. So you lose that ability, sometimes of freeness, doing a dance song, because it there's certain parameters that you have to.
But I would argue that we broke past some of those perceived boundaries in some of these songs, right?
We were able to change them.
I mean,
but still,
this is a perfect example, right?
But doing a harmony, you should physically do. You should try to do. You should not have a automation doing it for you.
No. Pretend it doesn't exist. Pretend that there is no way to do this unless you do it. And that's the easiest way to think about it, right?
You have to.
Now, that also begs the question, like, how do you create these harmonies, which I'm not going to get into right now. But there's ways that we can give you guidance in terms of doing it. But I believe you come up with them all yourselves. You don't use any kind of.
I have this thing in my head. I can't.
And what's funny is he does it in his head. He doesn't even kind of put it down on like a scratch track and then sing it over it. You just kind of Mozart it and come in and say, "Hey, I got these." Now that's cool when it's 1 or 2, but when you come in with like a 4 or 5-part harmony, I'm like, "Damn, you've got your shit together, right?"
It's just in my head.
But that is a gift that we exploited to the high heavens for this, right? So let's play Billy's harmonies on the third verse, and then get you a taste of that.
The message is perfectly simple. The meaning is clear. Don't ever stray too far, and don't disappear. Now don't disappear.
So a few things there, right? It's different verse
Yeah.
because of the harmonies.
Because of the harmonies, right?
The music, I heard a couple subtle things that were in there that weren't in the other two,
That's true.
right? And there was also a repeat. The Clear did a delay.
Delay, right? Yeah.
Excuse me, a delay and a repeat. So, you know, now we're starting to bring in all of basically the components that are going to culminate in the climax of the song.
Which is pretty much, it's almost like we're taking the whole entire song and putting it into the end.
Squeezing it into the end,
Everything
right.
that, right.
Which is a cool thing to do.
Yes.
Now, you know, it's sometimes can be too overwhelming when you put all of these components in at once. You've got harmonies, you've got crazy drum beats, you've got arpeggiators going, you've got delays going, you've got multiple ad-libs going at the same time.
At the same time, right.
I will tell you that you're about to hear all of that.
And then everything's crisscrossing and
Everything is crossing. There's panning going on.
All right.
There's things dropping out of the sky, you know, into
there's
zero
things-
volume.
they're going up
There are
into
things
the sky.
going up and down. So, you know, we worked on this next part for a long time. But before this happens, right before the climax of the song, there's a really
yeah.
funny thing that happened here. So,
Yeah,
here's
I'm talking about
the scream.
right.
Now,
right. I just
Here's a case where usually Billy is the one that wants to do things over, and I, you know, to a certain point, humor him, and
Right.
we do it until I can't either take it anymore or it just doesn't make any sense to do it because I know it's good enough.
And
Yeah.
let me just say
Go
the
ahead.
reason why you want to do, because as a singer, I think there's you know when you can do something better than the original time, and there's almost very few times, and some people have that ability. I maybe I do too, but it's almost very few times I can say, let's go with that take. Or it's the first take that I did. Let's do that.
Right.
It's never for me. Never do I want to do the first take, because no matter how good the first take is, I'm sure that I can do it better.
Except for respect.
Well, right. Respect. I did that in one shot. And
One
I was
shot.
Like, and I was like, we're doing it.
Yeah.
But when we get to that song,
It's an edge case.
well, yeah, but when we get to that song, we have to explain exactly
okay.
why
Yeah.
I did it, because
Right.
you know the studio circumstances were not in the best
Ideal.
Ideal.
Right.
But in talking with this, I just think that you should at least try to do, even if you feel it's going to be your best take, at least try to do it over. That's just something I think you should do.
If you have the luxury of time and
If you have the luxury of
if you
time.
feel,
In this case, we
You
had
have
the luxury
warmed
of
up.
time.
Yeah.
However,
I mean,
I wasn't allowed.
oh, so
to do it over.
right. So the way this happened was Billy sang this part in the song here, which you're about to hear, and you know, like he said, there's ways where singers know that they're never going to be able to do something better than they did it.
I thought I
Well,
could.
I didn't care in this case whether he could do it better or not, because there's two things wrong with this. One is he blew the level on the.
Oh,
Yeah, we absolutely did. I
On this,
did.
on this,
Because you screamed it. And blowing a level means basically, you know, you've got your mic preamps set to a point where, you know, you're accounting for the highs and lows in the song, and if he sings above a certain volume, you get staticky, and it's horrible in the digital domain. It's just almost sometimes irreparable, right? In analog,
which means you would have to do it over.
Well, there are
in that
at
case,
least 3 parts in the course of this album that I'm aware of that we left them in, where I did surgery on them to fix them. This one, it was slight, but it was there, right? So this was, in my opinion, worthy enough to do that surgery and keep it. It was also not, I don't know why it sounds different. It might have been the preamp that I had set for you. We used a digital preamp, a Focusrite, which basically allows you to pick from a wide variety of different mic preamps, very famous ones. And although subtle, they are different. And I might have maybe one night had it set for somebody else's vocals.
All right, because at the time I think you were doing other
I might have been doing somebody
other
else
people.
prior to Billy,
Right.
and you know, maybe when setting the studio up for transitioning to our stuff, I didn't change it. But whatever the reason was, we left it, and
I know. Let's correct that. I was forced.
He was forced.
I was forced.
Now, you
And
know-
I mean, most times I get what I get. Most times in this, I get what I want, but this time,
No.
I wasn't waiting.
You know what? Maybe I was tired. Maybe it was just like spy the principal thing. But you were not getting your way.
I wasn't getting my way, and let me tell you, I was pissed. I was sitting back there, like, I
pissed.
can't believe it's not letting me see this over.
So what we're gonna do is I'll play that part, and then we'll get through the ending chaos that we talked about, and then we'll comment on it. All right.
Be near me, be near. Be near me, be near. What's your reputation? Ecstasy. What's your destination? Next to me, yeah. What's your reputation? Ecstasy. What's your destination?
Here comes that build-up.
What's your reputation? Ecstasy, baby. What's your destination? Next to me, yeah. What's your reputation? Ecstasy, baby. What's your destination? Next to me, yeah. What's your reputation? Ecstasy, baby. What's your destination? Next to me, yeah. What's your reputation? Ecstasy, baby. What's your destination? Next to me, yeah.
We do
Now I gotta add that this is nothing like the way the song is originally, at least at the end.
This is a good thing, right? So, so much going on there, right? Maybe we'll take another episode to pick apart that whole thing, but a couple things to note right away, right? First of all, when you listen to the call and response, right? Listen to that, because what we did was the call was without reverb, I believe. The call was dry, the response was wet.
Wet, right?
It's meaning, when he does, ecstasy, that is very wet, very saturated, you use a lot of reverb on it, right? When he does the call,
But just, what's your reputation?
with the reputation, it's right in your face, there's no reverb, it's very almost raw, and it's panned. So if you listen to it,
And
with your
panned is-
reputation, ecstasy happens on this side, right? So when you listen to it in your headphones, listen to that. Those are the type of things that add so much color to a song, right? And then you might not even notice because it's going by real fast, right? But we specifically did that because it's a call and response. So you wanted to kind of make it sound like two people were talking to each other. But plus, it sounded great in the context, I think, right? But there was so much other stuff going on behind it. Like there was arpeggiators going on there. There was a riser in the beginning and I call it a de-riser at the ending, right? Which basically takes you down from the climax. You hear it's very subtle, but it's like a psss.
Right.
It's almost like the thing in the beginning. So you're taking elements from the beginning of the song and incorporating them subtly, not so jarringly, right? In the beginning, right? Intermixed. Right, so you kind of always come in full circle and you're in familiar territory.
And you also know that there's repetition going on with the "What's your reputation?" That ecstasy, and you also have to know your vocal ability and whether or not you
Yeah.
can do things over. And for me, it may not sound
Strained.
strange,
Yeah.
but it really was.
It was hard for him to do.
hard for me to sing that. So my
Okay.
intention at the beginning was to sing every one of those, because I'm an animatron. I wanted to sing every single one of those at the end over. One, it's not possible because you never get the actual, and the part of the song, or the part of that song, ecstasy, is something you're going to focus on.
Right.
So if it doesn't sound as great as maybe the one before it or the one after it, it's definitely going to stand out as being subpar.
Yeah.
So I think I tried. I mean, I really tried to sing.
Did you originally plan on doing it that way, like screaming that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That I
Because it's funny, because I wasn't expecting that. I didn't even know what the hell he was going to do it, right? And I was sitting there, and all of a sudden this ecstasy comes out of nowhere. I'm like, holy shit, right? Because I listened to the song,
and they don't really
and he's
do it
just
like
coming
that.
out, right? He's like,
Right.
ecstasy. And I'm like, damn. And he's like he's kicking himself back there, right? To get that.
Well, I really
note
had to, grab onto something before
Yeah, I mean,
to start to sing that. But I did it though. I did it the first time, and I think I did it the second time, and we ended up using just the one and copying it.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because after doing it the first and the second time, it was already a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't going to sound, and it wasn't off key, nothing like that. It just wasn't going to sound exactly like it should.
Right.
So we opted to just take my very first take and copy them.
Yep.
And so the feel, the sound, the pitch, everything was perfect. And those are times where you just know whether or not your vocal health may not be great that day, or even if it is fantastic, some things are just going to strain. You're just going to strain, and you're not going to be able to do it.
There was that, but there was also, I mean, this was a case where you didn't need to do it over again, because we actually wanted the effect of, some repetition there.
True, but
You know?
in my mind,
I know.
I needed to do it again.
Herein lies
that's
the, I had to roll out the bed and put my psychology hat on and calm him down, right? And talk him off the cliff.
At the beginning, I'm like, I can't do this.
No, oh my
I can't
God.
do it again.
Right,
I gotta try again.
Gonna get his meds out, but ultimately, so point is, be unpredictable, right? And be, just don't be afraid to
Try.
go a little bit outside your bounds. I mean, like I said, I've never, in all the years that I've been working with Billy, I've never heard him scream like that.
No, because I don't. I really
Never heard him.
I
Never do it, right?
like to do it, right?
So it was really cool, because it was unpredictable for me, and it was great for you because you expanded your horizons, so to speak,
Yeah.
and it was right for the song, right?
Oh, it was great for the song, right?
The ending of Be Near Me.
We should talk about
What is that?
Did we talk about the bees and the?
We did not. Okay. The repeating.
I mean, it was.
Yeah.
That was my favorite.
Okay. Yeah. So you might have noticed Billy doing the.
Yeah.
Right. So you cannot play the song. It's very entertaining if you're ever with him and you play the song. He is physically it's impossible for him to not do that while he's singing it. As a matter of fact, when I needed to laugh, I would just play this and just kind of watch him. But those repeating beats, we kind of covered them a little bit.
But
that is a trademark Will Miller signature effect, if you will.
And I had this in my.
We're talking about the repeating bees of be near me.
Yeah,
right?
I had them in my head.
Yeah.
After listening to it the very first time when we had gotten it together, and I think you should never not try to do something different if it works with the song, because this is not in the original of the song, and when we're playing the thing, it's just something I said I want to do, and Rob was like, you just want bees. I was like, I'm telling you, I know it doesn't sound like it doesn't sound anything like it should be, but just
his pitch, his delivery of his pitch for this to me was not very good.
Right.
So I actually had to do it.
right.
I was like, you know what? I'm not even sure I understand, but whatever. I was like, you just tell me where you want me to cut this, and let me get to work with my knife, and I'll tell you when the patient's alive.
It's perfect. I mean, in my head, it's perfect. What I wanted to, sometimes I don't play very well, so I don't play at all. So I have to, when we're together, I have to physically convey what I want Rob to do for me.
Sometimes too much comic relief.
Right, because I hear the song in my head complete, and I have to break it down to him by layer, which is sometimes it's just what I hear in my head is just not what's going to come out on paper, because nobody can hear what's going on.
Sure.
So to try to say to him, I need bees, I need them cut, I need a series of them, and I need you to put them right there.
Right.
It just doesn't. It just doesn't compute.
Doesn't sound
and
too
then I
good.
tried to sing it, which is even worse.
No, my God. Yeah, that was.
So-
But when you do something and let's make a mistake, that was there's a lot going on in there when you listen to it, right? When you do something that complicated, it may be impossible for me to even describe that to somebody. Well, the stuff that's going on without picking it apart, which is why I think when we get into the surgical part of it, it'll be pretty cool to show you guys. But don't be afraid to come up to your producer and say, "Hey, I've got this idea," because that spawned other things. I don't think we would have went. I think it was my idea to do the break, if I'm not mistaken, without all the music. That was just a bass line. Right? I said, you know what? There's so much crap going on in here that you don't even need music. It's your vocals, your ad-libs, your bees,
and
a couple of weird, ethereal things going on in the background, and there wasn't even drums. Right? It was just the bass. So point is, when you get into the climax of the song, try to incorporate elements that you've used already, or at least see if they work there. If you don't, toss them. Right? By all means, the bees, that wasn't the first incarnation of them. You used them in the first chorus, right? So it made sense to put them there.
Right, because they were intended for the end, I believe, and then we
kind of moved them
back.
So this is the curse where we were doing them in reverse. Right. So, like I said, play with it. That's what makes the song unique. That's what pays homage to the source material, and that's what makes Will Miller Will Miller.
And
take us out, baby.
Thankfully, also we got a really great song that I was able to do.
Yeah, I mean, we had a lot of cool song to work with.
ABC's Be Near Me is just fantastic. If you get the chance to listen to it, if you haven't, actually, I encourage you to probably listen to the original and then listen to ours.
Put a link to.
Right, I'll also put a link.
Just so you can find it easily.
Right. Under the YouTube page, there'll be a link to the original song and my song, along with links to Twitter.
I was supposed to be doing
Facebook,
this, right?
Right, but
I'll Instagram.
The next thing. And Instagram.
Instagram.
Plus, the YouTube page. Plus, I have my own webpage, which will all be there, and you'll be able to see it.
You got a lot of work to do.
I did. That's a lot, man.
See you next week.
See you next week.